Ross, we are in your hands.
Okay, good. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Gamma World. It sounds like Ron is where he needs to be with his character. Does anyone else have any things they need to sort out before we crack on and venture into doing something? I am scarily impressed with everybody asking complicated rules questions about flanking and things like that. So it's clearly everyone's on the ball and knows what they're doing. I had a couple of suggested ground rules. The first one is you are always entitled to stick your hand up or shout at me and say, Ross, you're talking too fast, and I will try and slow down, although I am bad at it. It's possible your characters might get into fights or other situations where we do need to ask rules questions or clarifications. It's probably best if people wait to ask questions until it is their turn in initiative order. But that's not always possible because there are sometimes rules and situations that mean you get to interrupt things or do things not on your turn. So do ask questions about that if you need to. And I imagine, particularly with a first session, we may be feeling our way a little bit in terms of rules, and so things may take a little bit longer, and we'll speed up as we go on, and it will all be great. But you're not in a fight yet. No one is trying to kill you, so that's all good. We won't talk about that just now. So I am going to suggest that we begin with your assorted characters together and associated, and friends, adventurers in the terrifying, dangerous post-apocalyptic world of Gamma Terra, in a junkyard of some description where you appear to have set up home or passed through or be associated with each other. And this is me now throwing a huge story hook and telling you where to go to begin with. You have heard that the floating market is happening. How many? 10, 20 miles, somewhere downstream from the horrible, polluted, slightly fluorescing watercourse that runs past your junkyard. The floating market is a market where people come together to exchange and trade and gossip, and it is protected to some extent by the ombuds, who are big cheeses, locally power brokers, people who can actually ensure that people coming to try and trade don't all immediately get murdered by horrible monsters and or horrible people. And this would certainly be a good place for Geiger to go to ask questions and try and dig into all the mysterious things that she wants to explore. Perhaps a good place for you to trade and do. We perhaps begin with a little montage of your descriptions of your characters preparing to venture out into the world. What do they do to get ready to go out for the day or few days this might take? What does getting ready look like, for example, for...
Are we going overland? I know I missed a detail or two, but are we going overland?
Oh, sorry. I am going to suggest you might want to go overland. You can walk, hike, or you could take one of your, I believe, various ones. If you have members of you have trucks. If you wanted to take a truck,
I would love.
The easiest way is to follow the river.
I would love to take a truck, my pickup truck that everybody can ride in.
Do you have fuel for it?
I am happy to hitch my harness to the front axle of that truck.
That's generous.
And I have a strength.
I would otherwise be happy to hand wave and say you have enough fuel to get.
No, I'm perfectly happy to. This is scarcity here. We live in scarcity, so I'm happy to march along with my heavy duty strength and heavy duty constitution, pulling my pickup truck with people in it. I don't think we're going to go faster than a walk, but we will get there. And you're riding in a truck.
Can't say no to that. I say shotgun.
And if we're describing our characters, as you may know, this is a humanoid statue of classical proportions, made of dull red rock, tastefully, classically, without clothing, who is...
As nature intended.
As nature intended, exactly. Walking along with the truck. So...
Geiger, I gather you called shotgun on the truck and are therefore in the passenger seat, despite the fact it possibly doesn't need steering, given it's being pulled.
Somebody might want to bob the steering wheel once in a while so the whole thing doesn't just, skew, but...
Yeah, sometimes it's needed in order to dodge some rocks and whatnot. And I'm pretty happy to sit there with my feet on the what's it called?
Dashboard.
The dashboard, yes. Of course, I'm removing my shoes because I don't want to soil it. And I'm studying the book because I'm pretty sure it contains very useful material. So I'm making a show of making myself useful, but not really into it too much.
Would you like to describe Geiger to us a little bit?
Well, Geiger is probably the most human-looking person in the group. And she's wearing conspicuously pristine equipment and armor, which she had found in the place where she had woken up from within a tremendously radioactive tank, a clonation battle of some description. She has glowing green hair, and people tend to shut down their Geiger counter next to her because the sound would be annoying.
Cool. So, Jared, Jared, do you want to introduce us to Diskette, and possibly how is she preparing for going out into the world? I can imagine her busy strapping on weapons and armor and such like.
Diskette wearing a ninja outfit. Diskette a cat with tentacles, licking itself.
Oh, are you in the back or in the back of the truck?
I'm in the back, yeah. Yep.
With one hind leg sticking straight up? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
No.
Okay, just seeing.
Gross. Get your mind out of the gutter, Edwards.
There's plenty of cats.
I have tentacles. I don't have to lift my leg up.
Mm-hmm.
I can reach anywhere. Anywhere.
You know what? There's no room in the gutter for me. It's occupied, evidently.
Yeah, this got really fast. So I'm sitting in the back beside a cat that probably has still one limb left to try to play with my feelers. Great. I'm absolutely thrilled.
Cool. So, Laker, what is that? Am I pronouncing that right?
Yep.
Laker? And maybe you can a little bit more about it, other than the fact that she currently has long tendrily feelers, because mutants in the post-apocalypse.
Apart from that, she has a pretty dark skin tone, some kind of midnight blue hue, and she's dressed in some kind of modified biker's outfit. Tank top, jacket, boots. Otherwise, she's quite normal, at least in her own eyes.
I suspect normal is a much abused term in the post-apocalyptic world of Gamma Terra.
Yeah, at least I think orange hair is normal. Don't know what you think.
Seems fair. I'm sure there are much less normal things that you will see at some point. Right. So you are slowly progressing. The probably easiest route to get to the location of the floating market is to follow the riverbed. Once a mighty river raged through this area, now it's a rather, as I said, slightly fluorescent trickle, and the flat riverbed is a good way to get to where the water is going. So you are slowly progressing down that, pulled by the indefatigable Okma, tireless and what's the word? Stoical. It sounds like in his attitude to doing this.
A rather pleasant expression. Reasonably. He's being helpful. He has a helpful look.
Seems like something he enjoys. So I don't imagine you're making rapid progress, but I don't think that you could necessarily go particularly fast down the riverbed anyway. And you've been traveling for a few hours when you hear up ahead an explosion and see smoke rising into the air. Heavy-handed GM is going to suggest, do you want to investigate the cause of this?
Action, I shout and start dressing with putting my boots on.
So, to give you a bit more information as to what you can see, the smoke is rising from the other side of a bridge that crosses over the river. It's a big steel bridge. The river goes underneath it, and you can see the smoke rising above it. And if you get a bit closer, you'll probably be able to see under the bridge what the source of this commotion is.
I'm not going to stop. I'll just keep proceeding until somebody tells me otherwise. I'm interested to know, are we going over the bridge?
Sorry, so the bridge goes over the riverbed. You are on the riverbed, so you'll be going under it.
Under it. Okay. So when you say past the bridge, you don't mean over and down the road. You mean literally past the bridge crosswise.
Yes.
Oh, all right then. Sure. Let's continue.
Been sending you down the riverbed and keep going under the bridge and follow the river and see what's blown up on the other side. Unless anybody wishes to stop Oxford from continuing to pull the...
I do want to disembark from the truck and walk next to Okma and my weapons on ready and tell him, I think we should be cautious from now on. An ambush is at hand. I sense it. They are trying to be subtle, I think, but they won't fool me.
Ooh.
I'm looking ahead and say, yep, subtle.
I will scout ahead. If anyone wants to come with me, Disquette, you are the most sneaky of us. You should come with me.
Disquette can't hide in a riverbed.
Perfect. The plan is forming. All right.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah. Let's see what the actions are. I'm curious. Who's doing what? I'm pulling the truck. I'll say, Leica, you all right back there?
Yeah, now I have room.
No, excellent. Okay. These
Well,
two seem to be up to something. Keep an eye on them, and I'll just keep walking.
All right.
Maybe I wasn't clear. I have not gotten out of the truck because my stealth is no good. We're in the middle of a desert riverbed, right?
Yes.
So I can't hide. There's nowhere to hide.
What a pity. I thought I could stretch out.
Nope.
I'm sure there is vegetation of a sort on the sides of the riverbanks. If you want to go stealthing around, you're certainly welcome to try to do so. And it may or may not be.
This cat gonna stay. This cat gonna stay put.
Okay.
Let Rockman pull this cat.
Mm-hmm.